Okay, I'm gonna watch this Jimmy Dore video. Watch the first 4 minutes of it. I'm gonna talk about what's going on, what they're talking about, and then I'm gonna contrast what has happened here to something else to highlight female supremacy, female privilege. So this is feminist female terrorism, interpersonal terrorism, and terrorism and political terrorism in the workplace. Because that's what feminism is. It's a hate movement. It's a terrorist movement. That may sound extreme, but I'm actually using the term terrorist correctly because terrorism is violence with a political objective. It doesn't mean small non-state actors committing violence. It means violence with a political objective and causing chaos, confusion, and fear in men in the workplace and getting them fired or trying to get them fired is a form of violence, right? It's economic violence, so it's economic terrorism against the male sex. That's what feminism is, 100%. So let's watch this.
So we showed you this joke, right? Every girl is bi. You just have to figure out if it's polar or sexual. Not the greatest joke, not the worst joke. Dave Weigel retweeted it at the Washington Post. He's a Washington Post guy. And then his colleague who also works at the Washington Post, someone named Felicia Sumnez. How do you say her name? Sanmez. Yeah. So she's an unhinged maniac, I found out.
Yeah, because she's a feminist. All feminists are unhinged maniacs because unhinged maniacs enabled by society. She's a feminist. And you know, Jimmy Dore, he doesn't name the problem either. Like a lot of these shield channels. So they don't name the problem. They might point out to the problem, the symptoms of the problem, so-called cancel culture, like women flipping out on social media and trying to get men fired from their jobs. But he doesn't name the root cause of it, right? Even though Jimmy Dore's been a victim of this sort of stuff himself, right?
Turns out she's a pretty unhinged. She's the worst thing that you could think of someone like her being. She retweets it. It says, "Fantastic to work at a news outlet where retweets like this are allowed." At first I thought he was quoting a Billie Eilish song, but apparently it's some kind of joke. And by the way, she says, "Fantastic to work at a news outlet where retweets like this are allowed." It is fantastic to work at an outlet where they don't police your retweets, isn't it? It does sound pretty fantastic, actually.
Well, the thing is, it's male tweets that get policed. Females making tweets do not get policed. That's the dynamic at play. Unless the females are really speaking out aggressively against feminism, then they might get into some trouble. But females can tweet all sorts of shit against the male sex and disparage them, and they're completely immune from getting fired from their jobs. So it's a complete double standard.
Oh, wait a minute. She's being sarcastic. Okay. So Dave Weigel had to immediately apologize. I just removed that retweet of you. I'm really sorry.
Right, okay. You do not apologize ever. You never apologize to these people, period. Okay? Because the apology is not going to help you. You're still going to get fired or suspended from your job. They're still going to go after you. They're going to see it as a sign of weakness. And also, they're not offended. So you're validating their offense. They're pretending to be offended, right? They're not just going, "Oh, I'm offended. Please don't do that again." They're going, "Oh, I'm offended. Fire this male subhuman from his job." It's a dog whistle, basically, to attack men. That's what their fake offense is. Don't call it outrage culture because that's giving into their frame. It's fake outrage culture, right? It's getting men fired from their jobs culture. That's what it is.
Doesn't matter. They suspended him, right? They suspended him because she got upset. Look at her.
She's got a very pretty smile. This narrative that feminists are ugly and they're dyed purple-haired freaks and they're fat. She actually looks like a very nice person. So, but she's not. She's a horrible, radical feminist human being. You can never judge a book by its cover when it comes to feminist women. Like she actually she could pass for a traditionalist woman from the looks of her.
Smiling like, "This is why I got into journalism." That's what it is.
Oh.
Now, the irony is, this guy, Dave Weigel, had previously defended her. He had defended her because when Kobe Bryant died, she tweeted out he's a rapist, right? Let's remember.
She said we shouldn't forget his allegations.
Yes, that's...
So Kobe Bryant was a American basketball player. I think he was the one who drowned, saving his son, if I remember correctly. And this feminist woman is smearing his memory by bringing up accusations against him. that are completely unproven, completely irrelevant. That's pretty cowardly to shit on the memory of a dead man. But it's part of the course for the feminist movement, unfortunately.
That's what she
Because he
said.
died. Yeah.
She said we shouldn't forget his allegations. So Washington Post Dave Weigel defended her after the Kobe treat, and $20 it's because he thought he was going to get laid.
No. Not at all. He did it for group conformity, to fit in and to advance his career. That's why he did it. And this proves something, though, right? Feminist women are malicious and hostile, and they hate men. They're out to do harm to men. They enter spheres of influence and want to cause chaos and marginalise men and get them fired from their jobs. And if you support feminists in this, you enable them, you have their back, they're not going to return the favour to you. You're a man, you're a subhuman in these feminist eyes, and they'll just put the knife in your back at any opportunity to get rid of you. They're disgusted at you. They want you gone. They want you gone. Period. They want you marginalised. They want you out of your job. They want you depressed. They want you to have mental health problems, and they want you to commit suicide after failing to find a job. That's their goal, right? Okay. The motto of feminists is take everything from men and give nothing. So never ever give feminist women any support whatsoever. Period. And here's another thing as well. Even on principle, if it's something on a principle that you support, and you think, oh, this is in the name of fairness, I might not like this feminist, but in the name of general principle, I'll support this feminist on this one issue, and I have her back, she's been treated unfairly. Do not do it ever. Period. Right? Even if a woman is suffering genuine unfairness, do not support her. Period. Because they're not going to return the favour. Only support women, I'm talking about women in general, only support women in general who've been proven to help you first. Period. That should be a rule that you live your life by. Anyone else, female, do not support them. Period. And this goes especially for feminist women. Never support feminist women. But even if feminist women actually helped you in some regards, do not support them. Period. Right? Because they are your enemy as a man. They hate you as a man, and just by wearing the feminist label, they've declared themselves your enemy.
All right. That's me.
Very clear.
David Weigel, benched without pay for a month on Monday, defended his fellow political reporter Felicia Sumnes in an early 2020 when she was suspended by the paper after posting a tweet linking to a 2016 story detailing rape allegations against the NBA superstar.
So just some random woman just smeared this man, basically, and she's just bringing it up for no good reason, just to smear the dead. Again, very cowardly. Feminist women are the ultimate cowards to ever exist. They're the most cowardly people to ever exist, right? So let's take an example of a crime. Let's say there's a 300-pound weightlifter who beats up an old granny and puts her into a coma, right? And that granny's like 80 pounds and she's frail and she's 90 years old, right? That weightlifter who beat up the old granny is less of a coward than a feminist woman. Because that weightlifter knows he's going to face legal consequences if he gets caught. So there's some consequences for him. He's actually taking some risk, right? A feminist woman, when she goes after men, there's no consequences. She's completely fearless and it's completely risk-free. So in fact, it's aggravated. It's an aggravated crime. She's a coward. They're cowards, right? So, and women know, these feminist women know that men are instinctively inclined not to harm women, and to pander to them, and to worship them, and to support them unconditionally. Feminist women know this. Feminist women are not delusional when they talk about being oppressed and men abusing them. They know men don't abuse them. They know it. Every single woman knows this. Period. They know this. By the way they behave, you can see it in an arrogant way they behave when they get in a man's face or they lynch mob them online, right? These women talk about men in a way they would not dare talk if they were genuinely afraid of them. Period.
So now what is actually, I think it was Voltaire who once said, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I will not defend your right to say it, nor return the favor if you defend my right to say things. I think that's what it was.
So that's a feminist motto. Male ally, do this to me, do that, but I'll give you nothing. Don't expect anything from me. It's actually a hostile act in and of itself. Taking energy and support from men, getting to the support networks, getting to their social circles, taking them over, then excluding men from them. That's the feminist motto.
So here's there's an article in Vanity Fair called "The Cluster F Inside the Washington Post Social Media Meltdown." So this became a big thing. So on Tuesday afternoon, Washington Post reporter Josh Dawsey tweeted that he was proud to work at the paper, a place filled with many terrific people who are smart and collegial. There it is. So after she did this, she went on a tear. I'll show you some of her tweets. But she went on a tear trying to get him fired. She got him suspended.
So she gives him support. He gives her support. And she tries to get him fired because she just hates him for existing.
And then she tried to get another employee fired for telling her to cool it. And so
this other employee, male or female, I'm not sure which, tries to stick up for this guy, tells her to cool it off, try to stop trying to get a guy into trouble over nothing, over a harmless tweet. Okay? And she goes, "No, how dare you challenge my female prerogative? I have the right to hassle men and try and get them fired from their jobs. I've got a right to create a chilling effect for all men in the workplace. And how dare you go against me? Know your place." And she tries to get them fired, which is a very psychotic thing to do. Very psychotic. And this is why men have got to be wary of women in the workplace, because they can flex their social dominance muscles, and there's not much men can do, unfortunately. And once feminists are in a space, in enough numbers, it's too late. It's too late, unfortunately. So there's no point watching the rest of this. It's a long video, and I just want to show this bit to contrast it to something else. So, okay. First of all, this is a radical feminist who works at the Huffington Post. She's a deputy editor. She's done a tweet 3 hours ago, right? And she's still got a job at the Huffington Post. Okay? There it is. It says she's a deputy editor. It links to Huffington Post. She is still working there. Okay? I just want to emphasize that. Now, okay, this screen cap for this tweet is missing for some reason. But in this tweet, she said, "Kill all men. My New Year's resolution is to kill all men and cultivate friendships with females." But anyway, here's an article about it. Miss McComb's tweet has been deleted, but the damage has been done. Huffington Post editor says New Year's resolution is to kill all men. Emily McCombs, parents editorial director at Huffington Post, tweeted her New Year's resolution. She since deleted the tweet, but not before many people grabbed it. Here's the tweet. So I've told you what the tweet is. It's basically, my New Year's resolution is to kill all men and cultivate female friendships. Okay? And they mean that literally. It's not a joke. If anyone goes, it's just a joke, you're just gaslighting. Shut up. It's not a joke. Okay? So there's many methods to kill a man. You can socially kill him and get him fired from his job. And a man's relationship, which most men treasure their relationships with women, unfortunately, and you can't make them see sense. They treasure their relationships with women, and once they lose their jobs, they're going to lose their relationship with their woman if they can't get a job back, and that's going to destroy their lives, and a lot of men are going to commit suicide once you drive them out of work. And a lot of these feminist women, they'll make sure these men are unemployable as well, unfortunately. You can see why McCombs might have deleted it. You can also see why she wants to cultivate friendships with women, because after all, she's planning to kill all men. Hard to cultivate friendships with the dead. This isn't McCombs' first foray into misandry. She has written about raising her sons gives her soaked sweat chills in the night and feminist nightmares, because she can imagine a future which my own spawn makes some women feel as voiceless as the boys in my high school once did. In a world which he blithely argues against the existence of male privilege and shit talks the latest all-female remake on Twitter. This is nonsense. So she's calling her own children spawn. She's dehumanizing them. She's dehumanizing them in public, right? This is just pure filth coming from her mouth. This is a disgusting human being as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of Twitter, the above tweet wasn't her only one about how much she despises men. She made her Twitter account private following her kill all men tweet, but the Daily Caller documented these before she hid from the consequences of her own words. Listen to more tweets. Filed my nails into sharp little points last night so I may spear and devour the hearts of men. November 29th, 2017. Can we have a day without men tomorrow? March 9th, 2017. Can you imagine if a white nationalist tweeted, "Can we have a day without black people tomorrow?" So she hates us so much, she just doesn't want us to exist anymore. This is why I hate all feminists. All feminists are bitches. Period. Period. They're all bad people. If you wear the feminist label and you're trying to go, "Oh, I'm not like the other feminists. I believe in real equality. Those are not the real feminists. You know, they're just extremists." You can just fuck off and shut your mouth. Get out of here. What do you do with employees like this? You fire them. No ifs, ands, or buts. Remember, the law protects men and women equally. No, it doesn't. And that's a lie, by the way. Women have got extra laws to protect them over men. Gender discrimination laws don't just protect women from the Harvey Weinsteins of the world. This is just nonsense now. They also protect men from Emily McCombs of the world. Harvey Weinstein didn't do nothing wrong, as far as I'm concerned. The charges against him were bullshit and weak as piss. So he's innocent. Harvey Weinstein was an unattractive, high-status male who slept around with status whores. That's who he was. And the women just falsely accused him out of spite later on. Announcing you wish to kill 50% of the world's population is not a joke anymore. It never was a joke. Then announcing that you like to rape 50% of the world's population. If she has a problem with a particular man who treated her poorly, then by all means she should speak out. But this behaviour steps over the line. No, she actually shouldn't speak out. Because if a man's treated you poorly and you don't have proof, shut your mouth. Especially if you're a feminist, shut your mouth. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. We don't believe you. And even if it's true, we don't owe you any sympathy or regard anyway, because you're a hostile, malicious force to the male sex, right? Like, if you're a Jew and you see some Nazi on the street begging for some change, or he's getting beaten up by someone, you don't help them. You just walk on by. It's none of your business. That Nazi hates you as a Jew. That Nazi wants you dead. So as a Jew, you should have no regard for that Nazi. It's the same with feminist women. I've reached out to HuffPost and asked them for a statement regarding Mrs. McCombs. If they respond, I'll certainly update this post. Hopefully they'll say their New Year's resolution is to remove sexist editors from their staff. We actually should not tolerate this type of behaviour. Should not tolerate this in your business either. Incom has a content sharing partnership with HuffPost. So she wasn't fired. So we'll go back again. She still has a job, right? She's still employed and doing fine in life. She's got a nice, cushy, influential job. She's still got a strong voice in society. She's completely immune from consequences because she attacked men. She wished death on men, right? She wished death on men. So men are so hyper-scrutinized and harassed and stalked and belittled that they can't make lame, sexist jokes on Twitter without getting suspended from the job and without the threat of getting fired. And there's men who get fired over this stuff, right? There's men, like in Donglegate. You remember Donglegate? A man made a joke that a woman overheard. It wasn't even for her. It wasn't even a sexual joke. She pretended to misinterpret it as a sexual joke, and he got the man fired from his job, right? That was Donglegate, okay? These women are creating terror and chaos for men in the workplace. This is why we need all feminist women out of the workplace. Period. No public sector job should have feminists, and no mainstream media outlet should have feminists at all. Right? Mainstream media does not have neo-Nazis working for them. The governments of Western nations do not hire neo-Nazis. They do not allow neo-Nazis to work. Right? There. So, all feminists out, and I'm sick of this double standard, and men should be able to speak their mind much more freely than they can right now, and women need to have their speech restricted more so they can't incite violence and death against men. Over and out.